Hey everybody, this is Maxine Taylor, America's first licensed astrologer, and we are continuing with our astrological love language. Of course, you know I'm talking about Venus. This is part 2 of your astrological love language, and I'm going to talk about wherever Venus is in your chart by house placement today. And this is the part that is so important, even more important than the signs. I know. You didn't know that, did you? Okay, so let's start. Venus, the planet of love, if it's in your first house, Venus is what you love. In your first house, you have the amazing ability to love yourself. This does not make you selfish. It does not make you egotistical. It allows you to love who you are. You are in the minority because most people don't love themselves. That's why they turn to other people to tell them that they're good enough and they look good. On Facebook, you know, that's why women get online and they cut their bangs and say, "What do you think, bangs?" And you're thinking, "Get a life, girl." But seriously, Venus in the first house, you're able to love you. And what this means is you don't need somebody else to tell you you are lovable. And when you're with them, they love you because you love you. It's contagious, so your light shines. Just stand there blinking and breathing, honey, and looking good. That's Venus in the first house. Now, Venus in the second house is awesome because Venus rules money and love. And the second house is the house that deals with money and tangible assets. So you love money, and whatever you love, you attract to you. You do have a sweet tooth, by the way, don't you? And with Venus in the second house, you will always be able to create abundance for yourself because it naturally rules the second house. And everybody is thinking right now, "Gee, I wish I had Venus in my second house." Don't worry. Wherever Venus is in your chart, it's there because it's supposed to be there. So let's keep on going just a little bit further and talk about Venus in your third house of communication. You getting the hang of this? What do you love? You love to talk. You love to think, and you think beautiful thoughts. Now, not everybody does. I know you've noticed that, but your outlook tends to be optimistic. It tends to be positive, and you love to travel short distances. It makes you a disguised kind of a Gemini. You're interested in communicating with people, sharing ideas, and lifting people up. And yeah, did I mention you talk? So, enjoy communicating. Now, the next sign that Venus is in is Cancer and the fourth house. Did you notice how I linked those up together? Because if you have Venus in the fourth house, you are a disguised Cancerian. Is that true of the others? Yes. Venus in the first house, you're a disguised Aries. Venus in the second house, you're a disguised Taurus. Venus in the third, you are a disguised Gemini. And they're used kind of interchangeably. Notice how I just slid that in? So, Venus in your fourth house, you love your home and family. You love being at home, even if it means just sitting in front of the TV with a remote in your hand. Your home is beautiful. Now, you might say, "No, it's not." Perhaps not to you, but it is to other people. You love to beautify your home. In fact, if you work in an office, you love to beautify the office. You make it into a home. I don't care what your family does. you will always love them. So, when we talk about Venus in the first house, the second house, the third house, or the fourth house, we're talking about the fact that this is what you love. And in each one of those houses, Venus manifests differently. And you might say, well, what if I move? Does that change my chart? Yes, it does. But your birth chart will always be the same. So let's say that you're an astrology student and you know about relocating your chart. And let's say you were born in Paris and you've moved to LA. Your chart is going to be different than your birth chart. And this means that your love nature expresses differently in your relocated chart. And so I know some of you are thinking, oh my goodness, it's different. Yes, it is. But they both work hand in hand. So let's say when you have moved from Paris to LA, your Venus relocated with that move, and it's in your 11th house of friends. I'm going to get to that in just a minute. Okay? So you have a lot to think about. Again, first house, Venus. You love you. And this is what I think solves so many problems. It's lack of loving ourselves that starts us fighting with people because we want them to give us what we can't give ourselves. Venus in the second house creates money, creates possessions, beautiful possessions. And other people might envy you for that. Haven't you noticed that too? Venus in the third house. You are a natural communicator. You see beauty in communicating. In fact, you want somebody in your life who stimulates your mind because that third house deals with mental agility. And you like somebody who's going to make you laugh. And that's the truth. And Venus in the fourth house. Oh, home sweet home. That's exactly what you need to do a needlepoint with that, of that home sweet home, and put it on your refrigerator. Because to you, your home is beautiful and your family is lovable and you love all of the people in your family, aunts, uncles, cousins, the whole family. And your greatest pleasure is being with your relatives. I have a dear friend who has an extended family all over the world, and he sends them all Christmas cards. And he stays in touch with them because they mean so much to him. They feed him, as well as he feeding them. With what? With love, of course. Well, I hope that you have enjoyed this particular segment of Practical Astrology, and I hope you'll be back for more. And if you want more information, check the information box below.